Okay, this is Tuesday's wrap-up. It's kind of fun having some free trial members in there every day. We're starting to get through them. If you're signed up for a free trial, we're sending out at least 5 a night. We had to cut it down to a 1-day free trial because otherwise I'm 6 months out if I do 1-week trials. If I want to limit the number of trials each day, which we do because we can make it much more manageable than to have 100 people in there each day. So anyway, 100 extra people, I should say, in there each day. So that's the way we're handling it, but it's kind of fun. Anyway, encourage questions, by the way, when you do have your free trial. Today's highlights, the MCP was the big one today. This doesn't look like much, right? This little spike up here, but let me show you how I called it. It ended up giving a very, very nice trade. Okay, MCP, I already had on watch because of the daily. Okay, had that crazy move. Reversed some of it yesterday, but really that just caught the people chasing it yesterday. If you look at it, people just jumping in after 30 minutes of trading and after the big day before that. At this point, you're really chasing. But it held up well. If you look at the gap and the entire move, this pullback in the afternoon yesterday, it still held up okay. The way I wanted in was if this broke its early high, this should get some passion. And as you can see, it did. I like to be in rather than take the high of day, the obvious high of day break, which is really, I kind of deem that a rookie entry because, I don't know, I just don't like taking high of day breaks. Oftentimes you get a reversal, you might sell at a loss and then watch it go. It didn't happen this time, but that's what I was hoping was a very narrow range for like an hour today and then a break of the early high and we jump on board. MCP was nicer though. It gave a great setup and I'll show it to you here. Scroll that over. Okay. It sells off initially, bounces up to the falling 20-period moving average. These are 5-minute candles. Sellers come in. What I like was, let me get my drawing tool going. I like that little bottoming tail on this 5-minute candle here. I'm just going to draw a line. I'll try to make an arrow, but I'm not very good at it. My mouse is set super fast because in a little flick of the wrist, I want to be able to cover I got 3 22-inch monitors, and so I don't want to have to move my arm across the desk. So, if you're a trader, you probably have your mouse set really fast too. I want to be able to scan 3 monitors worth in just a flick of a wrist, which is good, but makes drawing pretty hard. Okay, so this bottoming tail, in other words, I'm viewing this candle, okay, sellers are coming in to the falling 20. That's a typical place where this might roll over. Let me get the drawing tool out of the way. But what was interesting, let me scoot that over. When these sellers come in, you can see some buying occurred, right? Like maybe it was taken out that stops below 30. But once I saw these sellers fail, I told everybody I wanted in if this red candle gets taken out to the upside, okay? So the high of this candle, 30.31. So my call is 30.32 if it gets there. In other words, these sellers looking for, shorting here, whatever, looking for it to roll over. They failed if it gets above this candle. That's kind of my logical thinking, the way I walk through these trade entry setups. Okay, 30.32, my stop's going to go right below 30, and then there's our trigger. It consolidates for about 10-15 minutes, and then it was off to the races. So that way, when we break the high, we break the high of the day, and people start piling in saying, "Here goes MCP again." Okay, we're already in from here with a stop right here, and we get to just ride it up. We always sell some into the pop. But then, at the end of the day, it sold off a bit. But anyway, beautiful trade there. A very nice move. And then YOKU was another nice one. I did not get this one, but I gave the idea to our chat room. Sort of the same thinking. Okay, YOKU, take today's candle out of it. Massive volume yesterday. Nice breakout. Okay, so this lands on our watch list just because of that. Now YOKU just bases for a while after a small gap down. Couple little failed pops here. Nothing enticed me enough to get in this thing, and then it starts to sell off and it's chopping around, but still no really discernible entry. Now this is going to sound bizarre to some people, but I like to go to wider candles. Most people say you want to use 1 or 2 minute candles or tick charts when day trading. One of our favorite entries, or one of my favorite entries, is when this stock has been selling for the morning, but the overall bigger picture is extremely bullish, right? Remember that candle I showed you from yesterday? We go to a wider time frame just to clean it up. I love those stair steps, and so my thinking was, I said this could give a nice 30s. What does that mean? 30-minute candles. You've got a high, lower high still. There's the rising 20-period moving average too, which it found support there. So you have consecutive lower highs. If it breaks this candle's high, now that you've got your stair steps, there's a long with your stop below this candle's low. Okay, so 30.01, 29.43 stop. Look what happens. And I know we had several members take this today. Their 30.01 worst case stop, 29.43. Okay, so 58 cents risk. Well, some people might say, well, because you use 30s, that's such a 58 cents is a lot to risk per share. To which my answer is always trade smaller. Okay, if your stop is wider based on this candlestick formation, then just trade smaller, and your amount of money you're normally risking is the same. Okay, because look at YOKU, gets through the high of the day and goes all the way to 32.08. So it moved up more than $2. Okay, so even if you normally take 1,000 shares and you took 200 shares at $2 a pop, you're even at some point today you're still up $400. And your risk was less than 100. Okay, so you can just adjust if your stop is wider with position size. I'm going to try to real quickly rip through the rest of my ideas today just to prove that not everything I say works. HEK, or is worthy, I should say, of a highlight video. HEK, I'll show you the daily, super beaten up. Okay, and so then it's in a narrow range today. So I told everybody if this breaks the early high, you could go high of day break, low of day stop. It's not a big mover on most days, which would have been 448 and a stop somewhere around 440. And it quickly went to 455 or something. Just went sideways the rest of the day. Ended up getting, after the course of a whole afternoon, went up a dime, which you could still make the argument it didn't stop out. And a dime isn't awful on a $4 stock. But so there's one that I called. It didn't exactly tear it up, but it shouldn't have cost anybody any money. RENN, this one's been gapping up a lot lately. Let's go to the daily. Really nice move here, then a gap up, pulled back, another gap up, another gap up. So I thought if this can trade in a narrow range, break its early high, it finally might be off to the races. And REN started to get volume here. This candle wasn't complete yet. This candle had a high of 556 when I said one of our entries, if it makes sense and you see volume, I don't mind calling it. I said 557 with a 47 stop. Because 557, again, at the time this wasn't complete, it was only up to 556, 557. More than likely that momentum will get you to 561, which would be a break of the early high, and then they might start piling into REN. So again, trying to get in a recently strong stock before it breaks the high of the day. Okay, 557 it hit, about 10 minutes later, 15, 20 minutes later, it's just tagging along here, and somewhere in here I just killed it. Said I'm gonna take my nickel loss. Because it just didn't follow through and I never got the high of day break. And it ended up going for like another 2 hours before finally stopping out. And look at, that's just goofy action. I did say that REN is not one of my favorite stocks. Let's see what else I called from today. INVN, I gave this idea. INVN super strong, pulled back, didn't take out the low of the day, and then had this little flag pattern right here. I projected this on the projector so everyone could see it. I said over this little base here, could get through the high of the day and rip. 2026 was my idea. Worst case stop below this base, about 20-something cents risk. And it breaks the base right here and gets through the high of the day. So from 2026 to 2080 something. I also did not get this one, but that was my idea on this one. Sometimes with my ADHD, I get sidetracked and don't even get it. What else? Let's see. Oh, VVUS was getting killed today, and then when it had this shape change, I said over this candle it might work. I didn't take this one, but which was right here with a stop right here. Very tight stop, but it didn't. It ended up taking out the low of the day and then going later. Some of our members using a different method caught it right here, and made a really nice trade there. And that might be it for the day. Overall, a fantastic day. But I think that's it. Real quick, I was going to talk about Citigroup after hours, but I'm not going to. So that was the day. We will try to put out a video tomorrow with our trades from tomorrow's chat room session. All right, talk to you later.